Dr. Kelly Thompson, former president of the university, came to this campus, as have many other students, as an aspiring journalist. However, Dr. Cherry employed Kelly Thompson as a field representative for the university during his sophomore year, and Dr. Thompson never left. But it wasn't that easy for Kelly. And after being interviewed by Dr. Cherry for the field representative position, Dr. Cherry waited almost a month before offering him the job. A month that Kelly admits was longer than 30 days as he waited for word of the job he coveted. But his greatest contribution to Western may be reflected in his efforts to enhance the scholarship program of the College Heights Foundation, the leadership that he's provided for so many years, and since about 1969 in the College Heights Foundation, when he took it from a fledgling small foundation to the leadership position that it now holds among foundations. And also his great leadership in moving this institution forward in its successful move to become a university in 1966. Dr. Thompson was a forerunner of today's athletics promotions wizard as he helped spread the word about Ed Diddle and the Western Hilltoppers.
If there was ever a Mr. Western, it would have to be Kelly Thompson. Since his arrival on campus as a freshman from Lebanon, Kentucky in 1928, Thompson has spent more than 6 decades as an integral part of Western Kentucky.
Last June the 1st, I completed 63 years of work at Western. Something that has been a blessing to me, something of which I am so proud, and about something so intimately worked out first by Coach Ed Diddle and then by President H.H. Cherry, that I feel, when I think about it, that I must have truly been one of the luckiest individuals in the whole world for that sequence to have happened to me, and for me to have had all this time on the campus working with the people of one of the greatest universities in the United States.
Thompson's professional career on the Hill began as a sophomore, traveling as a field representative for the university. But it was his 14-year tenure as president that had a significant impact on Western. It was a period of tremendous growth in both the physical layout of the campus and in enrollment as the student population increased from just over 1,600 in 1955 to more than 11,000 in 1969. His presidency was highlighted by Western's elevation to university status in 1966.
I would have to put first and foremost, when the Commonwealth of Kentucky, through the legislature, changed Western Kentucky State College to Western Kentucky University. And agreed in the ensuing years to try its best to finance it at that level. That was the big thing that affected all the others.
But Thompson's contributions to Western didn't end with his presidency as he continued his Western career, first as president of the College Heights Foundation and currently chairman of the board of that organization. The epitome of what Western's spirit evokes, Thompson has a special feeling about being honored tonight.
I am honored for being in the group. But the greatest honor that I could have in that respect is being in the same group with the two people who had so much to do with my entire life by being my friends, H.H. Cherry and E.A. Diddle. That's how it feels to me.
1992 Hall of Distinguished Alumni honoree, Kelly Thompson.
President Meredith, ladies and gentlemen all, please forgive me if tonight, in a very few words, I speak on a track quite different maybe from what my distinguished fellow honorees have taken and which I normally might take. I don't want to appear moody, but I must tell you that today, in what has transpired relative to my seeing some dear old friends, and tonight, in a meeting prior to this one here, seeing a number of old friends, and at this moment, trying to say something that makes sense to you and to those who have been the architects of this magnificent Western evening, in some kind of sincerity that would be appropriate for any occasion where one is expressing gratitude. I would like to confine my remarks to thank you. I want to thank every individual who in any manner has had anything to do with the fact that I stand here at this moment. And I want to extrapolate that, if I may, into an expression of appreciation for the great and glorious to me opportunity that I have had for 63 years to be a part of the dynamic, growing, magnificent Western Kentucky University. How lucky can a person get? I ask myself that question. To see the great panorama of human beings who are associated now and in the past with this institution, and to know them and to count them as your friends. Let me mention two. They have both been mentioned but they have meant so much as friends who dropped into my life. No credit to me, accidental, as so many friends in our lives are. The first was Coach Ed Diddle, who came to my hometown and recruited me to come to Western. I was in Louisville working as a cub reporter on the Courier-Journal. He went and saying that he wanted me to come down and visit it and be his guest, and I did. And on Sunday afternoon, after spending the day with him across the street from what is now Gordon Wilson Hall, I stood on his front porch and shook his hand and agreed that I would be here to play football that fall. And he had already told me what my scholarship would amount to. There were no scholarships. There aren't any today. I wish we'd call them what they are really ought to be called, and that's grants. Worthy of the name that they hold, and remove once and forever the strange enigma of why we identify certain things as we do in higher education. But that's beside the point. I'll have to speed it. I came I practiced, I got hurt, I became useless to him as our football coach at that time, and eventually had to cease football entirely. He never wavered. He was as interested in me the day after I turned in my gear as he was the first day that I had it checked out to me. He told me that he would see what he could do to help me, but he would have to assign the job to somebody else at the end of the semester, which was rapidly approaching. Getting off into details, I don't want to do that. Let me back up and just say that the day came when I found myself in serious distress. And how he knew about it, I to this day don't know why. He did, though, and he found me, as he said, in that shot that we saw of him discussing that. And he took me down to the Bowling Green Bank and Trust Company and walked in, and I didn't even know what we were doing. It took me to Mr. Cuthbertson, who was the chief CEO of the bank, and said, "Mr. Cuthbertson, I have a boy here, and I want you to give him $25. And I'll sign his note." Now, $25 doesn't sound like much money, but over in Potter, and some of you, very few of you, know that 21 meals a week, 20 hot meals and a box lunch on Sunday night was yours for $2.50. That's the relative situation of the time. And that $25 got me over a hump, which makes it possible for me to speak to you on this occasion. And out of that association, I had nothing to offer Ed Diddle. If I could have made the number one team of the fullback of the football team as fullback, I might have been repaying something, because that was the way it operated. But I was out of football, and he had nothing to gain by being kind to me or taking a special interest in me. But he stayed with me from then on, and he and I were close, very close friends until the day he died. Then I want to tell you about this great founder just for a minute, H.H. Cherry, whose grandson so eloquently paid tribute to him tonight. H.H. Cherry employed me, and I went to work June the 1st, 1929. When I left the Van Meter Auditorium to walk out to the driveway where a Model A Ford belonging to Western had been assigned to me, an automobile, to travel over Western Kentucky and to interview students and to see what they needed in the way of help, and to take the letters with me that they had written to H.H. Cherry and work out the problems they had, and go to teachers' meetings on Saturday when it was, and to talk to some teachers who were there on 16-hour certificates and 32-hour certificates about doing some correspondence work and signing them up there in correspondence, those who wanted to advance. Heaven. It started out as heaven. When I walked to that automobile from up on top under the facade, I to this day don't know for sure that my feet ever touched the ground. And I took off in that automobile to heaven. and I've been in heaven ever since. And tonight, I not only want to thank those who have engineered this event, I want to thank this institution. I want to thank everybody that has done anything whatsoever to help this institution during these 63 years that I have known it very intimately. I am grateful for every day that I have spent on this hill. There is no way for me to describe how lucky I think I have been just to have had the opportunity to live here and be a part of it, and to feel it breathe, and to see it progress, and to see it win its battles, and to know that with the strength that has been manifested here on this occasion tonight, that it is symbolic of what's going to happen tomorrow and the next month and the next year and throughout the future. Western is going to move forward as it always has. It's going to whip any problem that is confronted with, because it's got the sinew and the spirit that will make it move in that direction at any time that it's called into a crisis. I want to say thank you to each of you for being here tonight. I want to say thank you to all of the people who have been a part of this. H.H. Cherry gave me a job and then gave me his friendship. I really don't know why I would ever be so lucky as to have the friendship of E.A. Diddle and H.H. Cherry, two of the most dynamic, two of the most capable, two of the most compassionate, and two of the most dedicated men I have ever known in my lifetime. I could stand here all night and say thank you and call names. All I want to do is through you say thank you to the thousands, yes, thousands and thousands of individuals who have contributed to Western in the past 63 years. Say to this great institution, I thank you from the bottom of my heart.